Is Sunday sit-down time. With us now virtually is Mizzou Athletic Director Jim Sterk. Jim, thanks so much for coming on. How's your Sunday going so far?
It was great. Got a great hike in Rock Ridge State Park, and then came into work here.
Battling the wind out there. I know it was a little gusty out there.
Yeah, a little wind burnt from it, but it was okay. It was sunny. It was beautiful.
Well, Jim, I think the question on everyone's minds right now is how's the Mizzou football team doing with its COVID-19 situation right now?
Actually, yeah, really good. You know, it was a culmination of issues that led to our postponement. It wasn't like an overabundance of positive cases of COVID. Now, related from opt-outs or tracing, there was probably 8 or 9, but really it was a number of things. We've had season-ending injuries. We've had medical disqualifications, a dismissal. So it's 5 injuries that are probably folks that are going to get back. So a number of things, but I think all those should be a heck of a lot better for this coming weekend at South Carolina.
So as of tonight, you're feeling pretty confident that Mizzou is going to kick it off in Columbia East?
Yes, I do, and you may have seen the release from the SEC on the flexibility right on each Monday. Basically, you could find out you're going somewhere else or they're coming to your place. And we pulled off the LSU game in 3 days, so we think our staff and everyone are pretty nimble, and they've done a great job of adjusting and making sure that we can accommodate whatever happens.
If I read it right, isn't that after this South Carolina game?
Yes, this South Carolina game is as scheduled this whole week as far as the SEC slate of games, but then after that, each Monday could be adjusted.
How crazy is that? You know, not knowing,
know.
Especially with the big rivalry game like Mizzou Arkansas coming up in 2 weeks, that potentially might not actually be the game scheduled.
Yeah, it might not be that weekend. We'll just have to see as the season progresses. But you know, just in 2020, we talked a little bit about it before we came on. Just anything can happen, and who would have thought we would have decided the bragging rights location game by a coin flip. So and with no fans, and so it's just you have to each day, just okay, what's going to hit today, and then adjust and make it as positive as it can be.
Well, we'll get to that bragging rights game in just a bit, but with the Georgia game, do you think that is going to be scheduled December 19th now that the SEC's allowed that to be a date for you guys?
If they aren't in contention for the championship game, then it could be the 19th. So yeah, it could be a little colder than what was scheduled, but it was pretty wet this weekend, so it might even be better weather than what we would have had.
So any indication on when you guys would find out what game will be December 19th?
I think as the rest of the season unfolds and the decisions that have to be made, if we don't have any other games that move around, like for instance that Vanderbilt game on the 12th that was moved there, then I think it could happen on the 19th. But at this point, anything can happen.
You just mentioned anything can happen, but so if Mizzou has to postpone another game, what does happen then? Is there a makeup date, or is it just not going to happen?
Yeah, and that's important. We were on a great pace, hadn't lost anything, and then this past weekend, obviously 4 games being canceled or postponed, and so we're kind of running out of options as far as where we can move games. So after this point, then games would probably be lost.
Do you know the number of positive tests right now on the Mizzou football team?
Last week I think there was only one or two. So yeah, it wasn't a significant amount.
I'm curious, Jim, have false positives been a problem at all for Mizzou and any of the sports? And how reliable do you think your testing is?
Our testing is really reliable. We're doing the PCR testing, and now the antigen hasn't been as good, and so that's, I think, has caused some issues across the country. But our PCR and our PAE are partner with the SEC that's doing all the organizing and managing all the testing. They're using local labs like in Columbia here and each of the locations across the conference. But yeah, it's been pretty reliable.
Well, the Mizzou basketball season starts November 25th for the men and the 27th for the women. For all the fans out there, what's Mizzou Arena going to look like from a fan perspective?
Yeah, it's going to look a lot different as far as the court itself and the where the teams will be seated. They'll be seated on the other opposite side. We had to keep the distance from the scorers table and spread the scorers table out. So there'll be a lot of changes down below, and I think the first row, we won't have courtside seating for either men's or women's. It'll be about 20 feet back, so you'll be up in the stands. Will be the first row that actually is accommodated. So it'll be really different. 15,000 seat arena might have 3,000 people in it total, but we'll see. We're still working through all that, but it's getting close, obviously, and we're getting ready to go.
We talked about the bragging rights a little bit. You mentioned it earlier, and I'm curious, how did that come about? How did you and Illinois' athletic director decide that a coin flip would be the best course of action to decide who gets the home game?
Great question. As you know, the basketball schedules have really been in a flux, and a lot of non-conference and MTEs, those tournaments that were set up, and like Orlando was canceled, and so a lot of changes. And so Josh and I spoke early on, and in Illinois they can't allow any fans in their arena, and so as St. Louis, he said, we really don't feel comfortable going and having fans around. So what if we hosted it at home? At their place, no fans, just the families of the team. But we threw out the option of coming here, obviously, and to decide, the only fair way I suggested was a coin flip. So we agreed on that, and then got the presidents involved, and then Andy Katz. So it turned into a fun event.
Yeah, definitely. Only in 2020 type of thing. You weren't able to do the same with Kansas. Why not?
It just, great question. We were open to doing kind of the same thing, figuring out something with them, but they had games that were being moved, and they wanted to just take a pause for this year and bring it up and start again next year.
In regards to just any of your student athletes or coaches or any staff members getting COVID, has anyone had any serious health issues with COVID-19 within Mizzou's athletic department?
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. Our student athletes, we haven't had anyone hospitalized, and that's been fortunate. And staff, we haven't had any. So I think it's a matter. We haven't had a lot.
And you guys have had fans at volleyball matches, you've had fans at soccer matches, and of course football as well. Any evidence of any sort of spread at any of those events, or have you guys been good?
No, and it's been really positive, and I think that gives not only us within athletics, but also the university and the health department, as far as allowing us to continue to have those games with fans, a limited amount.
Well, lastly, Jim, just how do you think Mizzou has handled the COVID-19 pandemic since this all started way back in March now?
Yeah, it's been a long haul, and President Choi and the leadership of the university has done a great job, and everyone's really worked together and really communicated well so that we could continue to have classes, and they are pausing most of the classes after Thanksgiving. That was announced, but it's only because people are going to be going out to various places wherever their homes are, and then encouraging them to stay there during the holidays, and then start up classes after the first of the year. And so I think that's a good plan. That's a wise plan that we can help as far as athletics. We haven't been a part of any any kind of super spreading incidents, and we certainly don't want to do it in the future. But we want to be a great partner with the university, with the community of Columbia, and make sure that we can continue to have those events that bring people in.
Absolutely. Well, Mizzou Athletic Director Jim Sterk, thank you so much for taking the time on your Sunday to come speak with us and shed some light on what's going on with Mizzou.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.